Hello, my name is Lisa Stewart, and I'm the principal in charge of the Center for Individual and Organizational Performance. And thank you for taking the time to read our newsletter. And since you're reading it, you know that the subject this time is all about the entrepreneurial stage of business. We know it's a really exciting time and that there's lots of great things happening, but we also know that we need to prepare for that next stage of business. So today I'm absolutely delighted to have invited one of my favorite clients, Bill Shade, to join us to talk about his business because it's very much in that entrepreneurial phase. And yet he's still working toward that long-term sustainability. So Bill, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on this call today. So a little bit about me and my business. So family business started about 100 years ago, was the original family union commercial painting business. I went out on my own about 25 years ago, started a open shop commercial painting contracting firm based in Philadelphia, and we've grown that business. Now we have multiple offices, we have multiple product and service offerings. So we're in about 6 or 7 states right now, and it's really been a lot of fun, or maybe I should say it was a lot of fun before the pandemic, and certainly the pandemic has made business interesting for all of us.
Right, well, I can imagine. So cast your mind back to about 25 years ago. I'm curious, like, what happened? How did you go out on your own, and how did you form the vision for the business and what you wanted to do, the strategic vision?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I would love to tell you it's an amazing story, but it's more of an interesting story. So real quick, my wife and I get married. I come back from my honeymoon in the family business. I wind up being fired and have no job when I come back from my honeymoon. And ultimately, I went out on my own and started my own business. So I would love to say there was a great vision there, but I wound up starting my own business at that point. And it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Now looking back 25 years ago, I always wanted to be an open shop contractor. I was able to do that, and now, obviously, as I said, grow the business into multiple states. So it's a crazy story, to say the least.
Right. Well, sometimes adversity is kind of like the mother of invention. So it seemed to have worked out for you. I'm just curious, have you been able to develop that vision and then also really focused on working on the business? A lot of business owners, particularly those in the entrepreneurial phase, find that they kind of get stuck in that operational aspect of the business. They're always working on it instead of in it. So have you been able to sort of step back and work on it? And if so, how have you done that? How have you managed to get beyond those barriers to strategic planning?
Great question, Lisa. It's eluded me probably for the first 10 or 15 years of my business career. And I joined 2 organizations. I joined Vistage, which is a great organization to help grow business leaders. And I'm also in a industry-specific peer group. And this really allowed me to focus on working on my business instead of in my business. And once I was able to see the benefits of that, our business really started to take off about 5 or 6 years ago. And we've grown probably about 70% over the last 5 years. So it's so critically important, I think, for all business leaders to make sure that they're spending enough time working on their business instead of in their business.
Bill, I think it's wonderful that you've been able to work with an organization like Vistage. In fact, I think a lot of times these sort of peer group organizations can be great for helping you to think about the business in a completely different way and having that longer term focus. So tell me, have you been able to involve your senior leadership in strategic planning, strategy development, and so on? And if so, what does that look like?
Yeah, so great question. So about 5, I'm going to say years ago, after being in Vistage for a couple years, we created a leadership team that helped us continue to build and grow the business. Then subsequently to that, in the last probably 6-8 months, we've not only done quarterly leadership meetings, but now we're doing bi-weekly leadership meetings in an attempt to break down the divisions and groups within my company to have us all work together, as they say, rowing all in the same direction and creating a common goal and helping those leaders grow to hopefully one day one of them maybe can step in and become the president.
That's wonderful. In fact, that leads me really to kind of my last question, which is around succession planning. So tell me, we always encourage our business owners to think about integrating the succession planning into the business, into that strategy development. So I know you've done some work on this. You want to tell us a little bit about what you've done?
Yeah, for sure, because this is how I come to you, Lisa. The last year, you and I have been working together with, and as well as some other people on your team, that it is a major focus of mine, being the current president of the company, that I'm constantly working on succession planning. And what I have found with your help, is the most important thing is that I need to continue to build and grow people. We are in a huge people-oriented business, and that I need to not only build my leadership team and their abilities and capabilities, but the people that are underneath of them. If there's an opportunity for a family member to join the business, making sure that the family member enters the organization with the right expectations. So with your help, Lisa, it's been absolutely wonderful working on thinking about succession planning. It's made it super easy to create that plan and have multiple options within the plan, because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you've been so receptive to the whole idea of succession planning. And I also think that it's one of the things that's really nice about working together is that you've also integrated what we call the desk plan into all of this. So you've been able to do some pretty significant risk management as well in order to be able to prepare for the future. Do you want us to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. You like to call it the desk plan. I like to call it the hit by the bus plan. And I feel 100 times better having created that and going through the exercise with you, Lisa, doing the work to document everything, have everything in a place where, God forbid, I do get hit by the bus. We are prepared as a organization and as a family to be able to put all the right pieces into place, whether it's insurance, whether it's who the next leader is. There are just so many different phases that the hit by the bus plan, or the desk plan, as you professionals like to call it, that we've put into place to make sure that we're prepared for that next stage.
Right. Yeah, you have really done so much. It's a great plan, and it's so interesting. You know, one of our hurdles really in working with family businesses is to make sure that they're doing the appropriate planning, that they really are thinking about the future, and that they are managing those risks so that they can move from the world of just pure entrepreneurialism to having a strong and a solid business that's going to sustain them. So we want to be able to make sure that they're protecting their family for the future. You've done a fantastic job, and it's been such a joy to work with you. And thank you so much for joining us today.
I got to say thank you. You and your team have been absolutely wonderful and have helped me get to where I am. So it's really, the thanks is to you.
Well, thank you. And just keep it coming, because we really enjoyed the conversation. And to all of you that have taken the time to read the newsletter, thank you. And we're always here to help. And we certainly look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Take care.